welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a drugstore capsule makeup starter kit. I spoke about this briefly in the previous capsule makeup starter kit that I did. I was really inspired by seeing capsule wardrobe videos and how it's focused on, you know, having different pieces of clothing that are versatile and you can wear them every day and wear them in a multitude of different ways. And that inspired me in thinking of terms of like a makeup kit. So I wanted to do one focusing on drugstore makeup products and really sharing with you staple products that I feel like are versatile enough to be taken from, you know, sheer no makeup all the way to your glam looks and, you know, going out and really creating different types of looks for day-to-day life. So let's get started. With a lot of these products, there's going to be two different variations of these specific products. I'm not saying that you need the both of them. I'm more so saying if you don't like this, then this is a good option. So I want to start off with priming products. I really feel like primers are such a personal product. You're gonna have to take into consideration not only your skin type, but the type of makeup that you tend to wear on a day-to-day basis. I know for myself personally, one of my favorite types of primers are serum primers or liquid primers. These types of primers get easily absorbed into the skin and they're more about perfecting the canvas of your skin and just really getting your skin nice and prepped for makeup application rather than, you know, smoothing and creating a matte effect on the skin. So I love the Revlon Rose Glow Serum Primer. This is much like the other serum primers I've talked about in previous videos from other brands. It is liquid and fluid, quite watery, and it's quickly absorbed into the skin. This one has a slightly noticeable strobe to the product, but it's just barely gonna catch the light. And honestly, depending on the type of makeup that you put on top of it, you probably won't be able to even see the strobe in the makeup that you're wearing. But it's just, you know, hydrating and it just gives your skin a quick drink of water so that your skin is nice and plump. And then when you start applying makeup, you get that really nice even blend, and it does provide the skin with that like comfort of moisture while you're applying your makeup. So Revlon Rose Glow is really great. If you are somebody that tends to have a little bit more of a problematic skin type, so I'm saying, you know, texture, visible blemishes, things like that, and you're maybe particularly a lot more oily, I would suggest something like this from NYX. This is the Marshmallow Primer. It's kind of similar to like the Hourglass Veil primers where it's kind of like almost like a mineral sunscreen, but more moussey. So you know how sometimes mineral sunscreens, they tend to be a little bit slightly mattifying on the skin? It's a very similar effect with this one. For this primer specifically, it's not something that I would recommend applying all over your entire face. This is really great for targeted areas on the skin where you have the visible texture, where you're more prone to creating oils throughout the day and you struggle with the oily parts of your face breaking down your makeup throughout the day, causing patchiness, or just reducing the longevity of your base products. This is something that can really aid you in, you know, negating those issues. So although it's not something I recommend for all over the face, I find this to be a great targeted type of primer. So like T-zone, chin, if you have, you know, texture in the skin, you can use this to kind of smooth it out and give yourself a little bit of a blurring effect. But overall, even something like this, you know, paired on the targeted spots of the face with this all over the skin, you're gonna get a much more natural effect. And I have spoken about this before. I do feel like overusing these smoothing primers can sometimes inhibit the set down of base products. So if you actually do find that your base products are, you know, not setting, they're migrating, they're slipping and sliding, maybe take a look at not only the skincare that you're using before you do your makeup, but the priming products as well. Something like this could actually potentially be a lot better for your makeup's longevity versus something like this. I really think illuminators are such a special product because you can create some bounce back and light reflection on the skin. You can negate dullness and really just liven up a complexion and just instantly wake the skin up and give you that really nice healthy glow while creating, you know, the light reflection on the skin without having more of like a perhaps like dewy or oily reflection on the skin. So illuminators, they're so amazing. You can use them in a multitude of different ways. Two of my favorites from the drugstore. So we have the Maybelline 4-in-1 Skin Perfector and the Revlon Photo, it's not photo ready anymore. It's just the Revlon Skin Lights. Anyway, so the Revlon Skin Lights, beautiful. I've said it a million times in videos. This illuminator competes with some of the top luxury illuminators. This is a liquid illuminator, so you can wear this on its own, mixed in with your makeup, on top of your makeup, or you can, you know, essentially do whatever you want with it. This shade specifically in Sunrise Luster is nice and strobed, but can easily be sheared out. So you really do get the versatility depending on the intensity that you want this illuminator to be. I think it is absolutely beautiful. It does not pill and it does not interfere with the formulation of the makeup that you use it with. Now, when it comes to the Maybelline Skin Perfectors, I have two different shades, medium and light. These are really nice because they're different from typical illuminators in the sense that you want to choose the shade that is the closest to your natural skin tone. It does not have to be a perfect match. You just want to generalize and ballpark the skin tone that you want to, you know, use it with, but it's going to sheer out. So you're not going to get this intense of color on the skin. It's going to just provide like a light veil of coverage over the skin. It's blurring, it's illuminating, and can be used the same way as the Revlon ones as well, but a little bit more natural, a little bit more friendly to wear on its own because it has a skin tone shade versus being, you know, bronze or rose gold or champagne. So they look a little bit more passable as an actual skin makeup, but can still be used like a traditional illuminator as well. So when it comes to foundation, I feel like you can totally get away with having one foundation if it's versatile enough to be sheared out or built up to full coverage. You're really gonna have to take into consideration how much coverage do you need on a day-to-day basis? Can you shear this foundation out? I think if your foundation is a little bit too much full coverage to your liking, it's really not that deep. You can mix in a little bit of moisturizer and easily shear it out. So if you're working with a product that's too much coverage, try experimenting with it a little bit and shearing it out. But perhaps having a little bit more coverage than you typically like for day to day is better because you can do the moisturizer trick, and then on days where you want more coverage, you still have a product that can pack some punch with the coverage it gives you. So one of my favorites is the Age Perfect Serum Foundation from L'Oreal. I have raved about this for years. It is beautiful, it is serum-like, it, you know, almost just gets absorbed into your skin. It looks very natural, and the coverage is customizable, anywhere from sheer to medium full, and anywhere in between. You can shear this out, mix it with other products, and it just always looks very beautiful, and the longevity is there. You can just wear this for hours on end and it's exceptional. Now the other one is also from the L'Oreal Age Perfect line, and it's quite a new favorite, but I've been obsessed with it since I've gotten it. It's the Tinted Balm Foundation. Now I think this is gonna be great for people that have a, you know, skin type that doesn't really need that much coverage, or somebody who is like me. You might have a lot of hyperpigmentation, some post-acne marks, but you're not necessarily concerned with completely covering them. You're more so wanting to achieve a very natural skin-like looking finish and just kind of put a veil of coverage over your problem areas. I really don't think you can beat this. It just looks so good. I've done a whole entire video on it, so I won't touch on it too much, but this is definitely gonna be better for somebody who wants, you know, barely there, but slightly buildable coverage, and then somebody who wants more of like a traditional true foundation where you can really experiment with the coverage. This has been a standby for like 2 years at this point for me. When it comes to concealers, I actually don't really stray too much. I tend to find my favorites and they're constant repurchases for me for years to come. I always love trying new ones, but it's very rare that I try new concealers and like genuinely really like them. So these two I really love. So the first is from Neutrogena. It's the Radiant Cream Concealer. I think that this is beautiful. It's radiant, it's creamy, just like the name would say. It's quite similar to the NARS Radiant Cream Concealer, in my opinion. It's a little bit more sheer. It doesn't have quite as much coverage as NARS Radiant Creamy, but really nice to use under the eyes or on dullness on the face where you want to put a little bit of concealer just for some added brightness. Because it does reflect back a lot of light, perhaps not the best for active, pimples and blemishes on the skin. And then the other one that I really like is the NYX Bare With Me Concealer Serum. This is actually, it's kind of strange, I guess it was what I'm trying to say. When I first used it, I thought it was going to have a lot more coverage than it actually does. It's actually more of a light to medium coverage concealer, so really nice for every day. One of the things I noticed about this concealer, I absolutely love it paired on top of foundation. Performs beautifully. But if you are somebody that doesn't wear foundation, I've noticed on the days where I try to wear this without foundation, it moves around a lot and it just doesn't look as good. It almost like needs like a base underneath it to really shine. But this is a great lighter coverage concealer. But if you don't wear foundation, I would go with the Neutrogena one because this looks beautiful on its own and I wear it on its own all the time. I also think a product like this could be super helpful. I've really been enjoying these like peach under eye tint products because such a small amount of a peach under eye corrector used under the eyes really gives you that instant brightness, completely helps with, negating the darkness under the eyes and just making the under eye need a lot less concealer and a lot less coverage because that slight peach tint really helps counteract the darkness. And also, hot take, a really nice way to use this because I've got a lot of hyperpigmentation on my face from post acne. Once the blemish has healed and you're just left with that flat bit of hyperpigmentation, use this on top of it before you do your foundation, and it's like you don't even see the hyperpigmentation at all. Oftentimes I forget to do that extra step, but when I do remember, I'm like, oh my gosh, it just hides the darkness from the hyperpigmentation. So it's a 2-for-1. You need the tiniest little bead of this product. It also does have little pearlescence in it, so it does, give you that little bit of bounce back on the skin as well. When it comes to setting powder, at the end of the day, I really only think you need one, and I'm going to recommend you 2 setting powders that are more on the luminous side because I feel like they're better. They're never going to make you look matte, like overly matte. They're never going to make you look chalky. They're not going to emphasize dryness on the skin, and they're going to help, keep the makeup from migrating and moving around throughout the day. So my first favorite is going to be from e.l.f. It's the Hello Halo setting powder. This is a loose, finely milled powder. It's got a good amount of light reflection in it, so although it's going to slightly mattify the skin, it's not going to take away completely from the natural shine that your skin has, and it just gives you a little bit more of that angelic glow, and it just looks a lot more young and fresh. If I'm being completely honest, it's better than a completely matte powder, in my opinion. The other one I want to recommend is not as luminous as the one from e.l.f., but still has the tiniest bit of pearl to it. So it's not going to completely mattify you. You're still going to get that little bit of bounce back, but if you don't want quite as much bounce back as the one from e.l.f., it's the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Pressed Powder. I love this. You can obviously see also with this powder there's a tint to it, so you could also wear this as foundation all over the skin if you'd like, but I do fancy it as a setting powder as well. I don't find it to double up on coverage or make my skin look cakey or like overly coveraged. And I like how this one, the pearl to it isn't too intense, so great for more natural days, or if you do have visible texture on the skin, it's not going to bring that to light quite as much as the e.l.f. one would. Okay, let's talk blush and bronzer. So I'm going to start off with my favorite blush. This is one that goes with literally everything, so you can wear it day to night. I think it's just a really uber flattering, perfect shade that I could just be happy with if I only had this one. So this is Burt's Bees Toasted Cinnamon. It's like a fleshy nude, and I think it's super beautiful. That can be worn with no makeup or a smoky eye. It's never going to distract from the overall look, so you don't have to worry about competing shades and colors. It just looks like a natural flush on the skin, and I don't think you can go wrong with Toasted Cinnamon. Now when it comes to bronzers, I have 2 different ones that I really want to share. So my personal favorites are actually the Revlon Prismatic bronzers. There's, I think, 3 different shades of these, but what I really like about these is these actually really remind me of the Makeup Forever Pro Fusion bronzers. They're not quite as creamy as the ones from Makeup Forever. They take a little bit more finagling to get the perfect blend, but if you do take the time to apply these correctly, you can get the same effect as the ones from Makeup Forever. So they're really beautiful. They reflect back light. They're not completely matte. I'm gonna sneeze. They're just good bronzers. They're not gonna make you look dull or sallow. So while they're giving your skin a good amount of warmth and really, you know, waking up your skin tone, they're also giving you that light reflection back so that you don't have to worry about worrying about the bronzer going muddy or looking clumpy on certain areas of the skin. I do find these to provide you with a little bit more of a natural, almost like airbrushed effect, which I really love. Now, one thing I really wanna recommend, if you just want to be one and done and you don't really want to have a bunch of different bronzers and highlights, I really don't think you can go wrong with this one. I really like this product. I've been using it a lot since I've purchased it. It's the Undone Beauty Bronzer Highlight Duo. So you get 2 different shades of bronzer, as you can see, and then you get 2 different shades of highlight. So this is honestly kind of ideal. It's really a no fuss, no muss type of product. These bronzers and highlights are buttery and creamy and they blend in exceptional. Like, this powder formula from Undone is really, really good. I'm like very impressed with it. I just, that's all I want to say. Like, they're really good powders. They're some of the best powders I've tried from the drugstore. So very genuinely impressed with not only the pigmentation of these powders, but the way that they apply onto the skin. And if you don't want to bother with, you know, separate highlight and separate bronzer, these are really great. And you get 4 different tones. So it's really a good one in my opinion. I'm not an eyeshadow person at heart, so I really think that I'm gonna recommend you some products that you will actually use. So Milani makes some really great eyeshadow duos. You get 1 matte, 1 shimmer. Bam, bam, what is it? Wham, bam, thank you ma'am. Wham, bam, thank you ma'am. Done. Easy. One's a little bit more glittery, so you can use that for like your fun pop on the eye if you want. The other ones that are really, we're going more so based on the formula of these eyeshadows just for reference, so you can pick a shade that you really enjoy. I love the L'Oreal Single Shadows. This one is in Matte Chill and I use this pretty regularly. I really like it as just like a nice brow bone highlight or as a little pop of brightness on the inner corner of the eye, and I've always been a big fan of the L'Oreal Single Shadows. Now, on a day-to-day basis, I am a cream eyeshadow lover. It's definitely what I wear the most in my day-to-day life, and I love the Revlon Color Stay Cream Eyeshadow Pot. I have talked about these Revlon Color Stay Cream Shadows for the entire time that I've had a YouTube channel. I absolutely love these. Shade 710, my like favorite cream shadow color of all time. I wear it on my eyes multiple times a week, so I really like these. These are also really handy because you don't need to use any type of eyeshadow primer, and if you don't have an eyeshadow primer, you can actually use this as the base for other eyeshadows because these stay in place. These are budge proof. You need to take these off with like a proper eye makeup remover at the end of the day. I also love the L'Oreal Brilliant Eyes liquid shadows. These come with little doe foot applicators. There are so many pretty shades. Diamond Drop is one of my personal favorites. These are really similar but actually better than the Glossier Lid Stars in my opinion, because you can wear these as a sheer twinkle and wash of color on the eyes, or you can build them up to pretty much full opacity. So they're really nice and versatile in terms of having an eyeshadow that can do multiple things for you. When it comes to eyeliner, again, talked about them for years, the LA Girl Ultimate Eyeliners. They come in a good amount of shades, and these are long-lasting, creamy, gel formulated eyeliners, so they can withstand the test of time in the tight line, the waterline. They can also be smudged out around the eye area to create more of a soft, smoky, like kind of sultry look. So these are just phenomenal eyeliners in my opinion. For brows, I really love the Revlon Photo Ready Color Why do I keep saying everything Revlon Photo Ready? It's not. The Revlon Color Stay Brow Creator. So you get a fine tipped brow pencil on one end, you have your spoolie on the other end, which I think is super important. I don't like when brow pencils don't come with spoolies. And then actually in the middle of the product, you have a little sponge tip applicator with brow pigment on it, so you can use that to fill in or really define the brows extra if that's what you want. Now when it comes to setting the brows, this is definitely the closest thing I found to the Anastasia Brow Freeze. It's not quite as strong of a hold, so you might actually prefer it. It's the e.l.f. Brow Lift, but obviously looking at it, you can tell that's what they aimed for, was the Anastasia Brow Freeze. And it's good. I like it. I use it regularly. You can do, you know, sleek brows or like laminated feathery brows with this product, and it's a really good brow gel for people who want to do different types of brow looks. Okay, so let's talk about mascaras. I'm sure many of you know this, Maybelline Lash Stiletto, probably like my second favorite mascara of all time. I just absolutely love the brush. I love the formula of this mascara. It's gonna give you really wispy strip lash, kind of like leggy, flirty looking lashes, and it looks phenomenal on the top or the bottom lashes. You can wear this naturally for a daytime look, or you can really build it up to get more of a impactful, dramatic look for the nighttime. Now, if you don't like bristle brushes because you don't like more of that like kind of, you know, wispy effect, my other favorite is the Rocket from Maybelline. Now, this one has more shorter plastic microfine bristles, and so this is going to give you more of a clean, separated, almost like elongated lash effect. So kind of similar to, think like Glossier Lash Slick or even like Ilia Limitless. That's the vibe that this type of mascara gives you, and I do like this on days where I just don't want something that's like, you know, too heavy or too wispy. Just want something a little bit more natural. So I like having options with mascaras. One plastic bristle mascara for natural days, and then my bristle brush for drama and smoky looks. So when it comes to setting sprays, I would actually, being completely honest, I would choose a setting spray over a setting powder. I just find them to be a lot better at actually increasing the longevity of makeup and making a difference in the way your makeup looks. So this one is one that I've been a fan of for years, and I really, really like this. It's the Hard Candy Sheer Envy Glow Setting Spray. This is a very pearlized, glowy, kind of like coconut oil vibe on the skin. So I actually don't like using this all the time to set my makeup. I can find it can really take your makeup there and make it like almost too glowy. So one of my favorite ways to use this is spray it on a makeup sponge and lightly tap it over the skin before makeup application or after you've done all your liquid products, just to give yourself that like last little bit of glow. And it's very moisturizing. It feels really nice, and it's more pearlized than the Tatcha Dewy Luminous. So that gives you like a lot of glow. This is like Tatcha ×2. So I still really like it though, because I like being super glowy. The other one I want to recommend that will actually increase your makeup's longevity, and I think it is the most comparable to the one from Charlotte Tilbury, which is obviously a lot more of a investment product, but it's from Revolution. It's the Super Fix Makeup Setting Spray. I've used this in countless tutorials. It says that it sets down to a matte finish, but it doesn't. It does not interfere with whatever the finish of the makeup that you're using it on top of. So if you put this on top of a dewy foundation, perhaps it will slightly mattify the skin, but within an hour it will go back to its original state. This actually makes your makeup last longer. If you're really concerned about increasing the longevity, you can use this as the first step in your makeup routine, and then after you've done all of your liquid products, do a second layer, and then as the final spray when you're done with all your makeup, liquid and powder, do your last spray. I promise you your makeup will last from like 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. I wanted to throw this little base treat in here. So, you know, during like spring and summer, we all love a faux freckle look. Freck is one of my personal favorite products for doing faux freckles, but Freck is, you know, it's not exactly like the most cost effective because you can use a brow pencil, but these freckle pens do create the most realistic freckles in my opinion. And so I really like the one from Jason Wu. It's slightly more red toned than Freck, but not in a aggressively red type of way. And it just comes on, you know, that little tiny brush applicator. You dot it onto the skin and then let it set for a couple moments and then tap it around the area where you want to put the freckles, and it's definitely the closest product I've found to Freck. and I like it. And you can just get this at Target, and it's obviously a lot more affordable too. We are ending this video on lips, and we have a lot to talk about because drugstore lips are actually some of my favorite products ever. So I wanted to talk about lip liner. I feel like you really genuinely, if you're just starting off or you don't find yourself wearing lip liner a lot, you probably really only need one. So choosing something that's more of like a nude natural lip color is gonna go a lot farther than choosing like a pink or a red. So two of my personal favorites, the NYX Nude Truffle, my like ride or die lip liner, and then a new one that I found that I really like is actually from Rimmel, and it's in the shade Cappuccino. This one's a little bit more cool toned, but still like lip skin colored, and both of these are really great for overlining, so creating like a more full, juicy, bigger looking lip. If you're looking for more of like a traditional formulated lipstick, hands down my favorite at the drugstore right now are the Maybelline Color Sensational lipsticks. I love the nudes in this range, so some of my favorites that I've pulled are Warm Me Up, Truffle Tease, and Nude Lust. These are creamy, they're comfortable, they're decently long wearing for being a cream formulated lipstick. They fade off the lips very elegantly, so they're not gonna be like patchy or drying on the lips. And I think that they're really formulated quite elegantly. There's a decent amount of oil in these lipsticks, so they don't feel like other lipsticks that are uncomfortable to wear. They just have a really nice, elegant formulation. Other lip product that I'm really loving are these L'Oreal Paris Glow Paradise lipsticks. So my favorite is in Beige Eden. This is a little bit more similar to something like the YSL sheer lipsticks, the Rouge Volupes, I think that's what they're called. You know which ones I'm talking about, those little YSL beautiful gold ones. This is really similar to that type of product, so more sheer, more daytime friendly, and just kind of like a gloss, a balm, and a lipstick all in one. So kind of more of like a one and done type of product. Oh my gosh, I feel like I pulled too many, so we're just gonna rapid fire talk about these. Okay, Maybelline Lifter Glosses. Probably my favorite lip gloss formula at the drugstore. There's so many different shades. I feel like they're good. They're the most comparable to the Fenty Gloss Bombs. These glosses specifically really give you that wet, like water-like shine that the Fenty Gloss Bombs give you. And they just come in very ultra flattering shades specifically. Like they're not too frosty, even though they do have some, you know, pearl to the product. They're very modern, chic lip glosses that won't make you look metallic or like out of date. The other one I really like is the L'Oreal, I don't even know what these are called. You know these like little L'Oreal glosses that I've shown you? These are really similar to those Lancome gloss tint balms that I was obsessed with a few years ago. So the shade is really pretty and juicy. It almost has a latex set down on the lips, so they stay put. They're not really as budgy as a lip gloss is, and they do leave the lips with a slight tint on them after the product itself has faded off. I love the Undone lip gloss in Peony Pearls. I think that this is really a moisturizing lip gloss. It honestly kind of feels a little bit more like a lip mask, and I love I like how this is just like a milky light pink, kind of like pink lace color, and it's very feminine. I really enjoy that one. I love the e.l.f. Ride or Die Balms. Again, have talked about these for literally years. These are so good, so similar to the Bite Agave lip masks, and the e.l.f. ones come in shades, so they're just, well, again, a one and done. You can wear this with some lip liner and it will look good, I promise you. All right, so that is everything I wanted to mention for my drugstore capsule makeup starter kit. Remember, I'm not saying that you need all of these products. I'm just telling you a good base routine of products. You can pick one over the other, and I'm just trying to help you decide what types of products I find myself using more so on a daily basis and what I think is practical for a makeup kit for day-to-day life. So I really hope you enjoyed this. I will list and link all of the products in the description box. Please be sure to subscribe. Come follow me on TikTok and on Instagram. Other than that, let me know any other videos that you're really wanting to see in the near future, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching this one. Bye everyone.